Chapter 1: Strategic Management and Strategic Competitiveness. The first thing we need to do in discussing business strategy is to figure out what is strategy and why do we care about it. Strategy is one of those words that is commonly used in the business context. It is a glamorous word, and managers spend a lot of time thinking, implementing, and planning strategy. Often managers have to demonstrate that they are capable of formulating complex strategies and effectively implementing them. It is consequential for organizations as well. A poorly formulated strategy or a poorly executed strategy could affect firm performance and their ability to sustain in the marketplace. Similarly, a well-formulated strategy, a well-implemented strategy could lead to increase in performance of the organization, ability to grow, as well as capitalize on the available opportunities. Sometimes strategy is required to be demonstrated by managers whenever they choose to climb up the corporate ladder. Now that we've emphasized the importance of strategy for managers and as well as organizations, we will move on to the defining the word strategy. The complexity surrounding the word strategy could be clearly seen in the words of Professor Henry Mintzberg's words. He termed strategy as, it turns out that strategy is one of those words that we inevitably define in one way and yet we use it in another way. The reason for his words is that strategy is a complex word and it is very difficult to define it in a single phrase or a single sentence, and it is a multi-dimensional construct rather than simply terming strategy as a planning or strategy or execution, strategy as a ploy. So therefore we have to be very careful in defining the word strategy, or at least understanding what strategy encapsulates. And when we actually think of the word strategy, we think that each of us might actually think in a completely different way, and we cannot rule out any of those versions because they might actually add a flavor or might actually encompass an important aspect of the strategy. Professor Mintzberg puts strategy as 5 P's, or he tries to compose or disintegrate the word strategy or the concept of strategy by using 5 P's. Strategy as a plan, strategy as a pattern, strategy as a position, strategy as a perspective, and strategy as a ploy. Strategy as a plan means that when you actually encounter a situation or an opportunity, how do you actually plan to capture that opportunity or overcome that threat? Pattern. You're very capable of doing certain things. For example, Prada, a fashion goods producer or fashion accessory producer, actually takes simple functional goods and adds all those bells and whistles to them and convinces its consumers that it is actually worth paying thousands of dollars. While a utility item, usually a comparable item or a commodity that is comparable functionally, might actually be bought for a few dollars in terms of tens of dollars, people are willing, or their consumers are willing to pay thousands of dollars. This is a pattern. This is a very successful pattern that they've been able to demonstrate. Positioning. Where you position your product within the industry or within the competitive landscape. Are you positioning your product as a high-end product or a low-end product? Where are you positioning? This is a part of strategy as well. Perspective. Like individuals, organizations tend to usually have perspective or a frame of mind in which they actually operate. For example, Microsoft looks at functionality. We all use products designed by Microsoft, but we are not ever excited about them. They are wonderful products and they're very innovative, but there is not that cool factor associated with those products or services provided by Microsoft. As opposed to that, when you actually look at Apple, they highly focus on the cool factor. Okay, their products are innovative, and usually people tend to focus or get excited about Apple's products. That is because the perspective or the approach Apple has towards its products and towards its consumers. Strategy as a ploy. Ploy is it meaning decoy or tricking someone, or tricking specifically your competitors. For example, Boeing tricked Airbus into committing to producing world's largest commercial passenger aircraft, A380, through pitching an idea or suggesting that Boeing is going to build a super cruiser, which is a supersonic passenger aircraft. So which pushed Airbus to commit itself to producing an aircraft that is going to compete against Boeing. They had to take a strategic initiative. So rather, actually, Boeing did not intend to actually produce it, or never showed any progress in that particular project, which means that Boeing actually tricked Airbus into committing into a project which they themselves were not willing to commit to. Neither of those parties, either Boeing nor Airbus, will accept that whether Boeing tricked them or Airbus got tricked. However, that's an example of strategy as a ploy. So now coming to the textbook definition of strategy. Strategy is an integrated and coordinated set of commitments and actions designed to exploit core competencies and gain competitive advantage. We are using two terms here, core competencies and competitive advantage. Core competencies means a firm's capabilities that are most important to the firm's survival and their performance. When these core competencies are non-substitutable, non-imitatable, are rare and valuable, they result in competitive advantages, especially when your competitors are not able to imitate your core competencies. So organizations come up with several options or choices, and they have to choose from those alternatives, and how they actually implement the chosen alternative is what strategy is, in other words. So let's look at an example here. Walmart, okay, they had two options. One, to produce products at low prices, or produce or sell products at low prices, or produce products or sell products which are exclusive. They made a choice, a commitment to one of those options, which is everyday low prices. Okay. Now, how do they actually implement this? They had two options. One, procure or buy products from other people, or to produce those products themselves. Okay. So they had to, in order to be able to implement everyday low prices, they were supposed to build certain core competencies that will give them competitive advantages in marketplace. What are those core competencies? Either procurement and robust supply chain, which will allow them to keep their prices low, okay, or produce products on their own at a lowest possible price and bring them to the marketplace. So they chose to implement their strategy by actually going the first route, which is procuring products from products produced by someone else. And they decided to build robust supply chain and procurement methods that will allow them to keep their costs low and bring the products to the table at the lowest possible price to the marketplace compared to the competitors. Okay, the competitive advantage is their ability to bring products to the shelf at a very low cost, which is because of their economies of scale or because of their capabilities that they've developed. So that gives you an idea about what strategy is and why we say it is a integrated and coordinated set of commitments and actions designed to exploit core competencies and gain competitive advantage. So now moving on to strategies at different levels. So we often use the word or hear the word marketing strategy, human resources strategy, supply chain strategy, financial strategy, whatnot. All these strategies are lower level strategies or called functional strategies. The next one is the most often what we focus in this particular course is that business level strategy and corporate level strategy. Business level strategies are implemented or designed or formulated by business units that are parts of these corporations, okay, whether they're choosing cost leadership, which is a low cost strategy, or differentiation strategy, which is a strategy about distinctive products or technologically superior products, okay, that are sold at a premium. Finally, the highest level of strategy is the corporate level strategy, which is, for example, cooperative strategy or mergers and acquisitions or international strategy. These are all examples of corporate level strategy. A higher level strategy determines what kind of lower level strategies that you can actually follow, and not vice versa. So basically, if I ask you a question on what are the three levels of strategies, I expect you to answer functional level strategies, business level strategy, and corporate level strategy. That concludes part 1.